Hello, I am Parikshit and I will be the .NET trainer. In this particular demonstration or in this particular demo, I will be taking the introduction to .NET, history of Visual Studio .NET, the definition of .NET and the .NET framework. So coming to the introduction, .NET is a framework, and to be more specific, VB.NET and C#.NET are high-level languages. Why we say that VB.NET and C#.NET is a high-level language? Because here in C#.NET and VB.NET, we will be getting the logic part for a particular problem, and based on that logic we need to derive our own solution. And ASP.NET is a technology because ASP.NET is being derived from ASP, which is again being derived from scripting languages, which is again being derived from DHTML, which is being derived from HTML, and HTML is a high-level language. And .NET is a framework. As suppose we are constructing a building, the first thing that we'll be doing is nothing but plan. After that we will put the slabs or the roofs. Now based on our requirements, we will be constructing or changing that building into a residential purpose or into a commercial purpose. So the most important thing is nothing but putting the slab. Based on my requirement, I can change the building. Similarly, here also we can change our based on our requirements, we can change the software. And ASP and .NET supports many languages. The advantage of supporting many languages is that we can get the advantages of C, get the advantages of C++, get the advantages of COBOL, Pascal, all the languages into our application, so that our application will become a hybrid one. .NET separates the logic part from the design part. Simple example is nothing but C came in the year 1972, whereas VB 6.0 came in the year 1998. Now if C gives more importance to the logic part, that is why it is more successful. Now in my software or in my application, I will give more importance to the logic part, so that my software will become an very popular and it can be a successful one. .NET supports OOPS concepts. OOPS stands for Object-Oriented Programming. The meaning of this one is that it supports abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Abstraction is defined as the ability to identify one object with respect to another object. Encapsulation is nothing but data hiding. Inheritance is nothing but acquiring the properties from the parent to the child. And there are 5 types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance and hybrid inheritance. C#.NET does not support multiple inheritance, but with the interfaces we can achieve multiple inheritance. And polymorphism is defined as the ability of an object to behave in different forms in different situations is called as polymorphism. For example, you take the simple example of fan, that is fan. When we say that it is a fan, it gives 2 different meanings. That is, it can be an electric fan and it can be he's a fan or like somebody. That is, the 3-letter word is giving different meanings in different situations. So that is nothing but an example of polymorphism. And .NET is machine independent. That is, if we develop the application on a hi-fi configuration and run it on a lower configuration, definitely that particular application will be running. And so this is nothing but about the introduction part. We'll go to the next slide, that is history of .NET. Now somewhere in the year 2000, Microsoft introduced .NET version of 1.1, and it was the beta version. Beta version is nothing but testing at the company side is over. We will give the software to the clients to test the software at their end. So in the year 2003, Microsoft released full version of .NET 1.1, and that is the reason we call it as .NET 2003. In the year 2005, Microsoft released beta version of .NET 2.0. In the year 2006, Microsoft released full version of .NET 2.0. Actually, we were expecting this one to be released in the year 2005, but due to some reasons it was released in the year early in the year 2006, but still we call it as .NET 2005, and the version is 2.0. In the year 2007, Microsoft released beta version of .NET 3.0. In the same year, Microsoft released beta version of the .NET 3.5. In the year 2008, Microsoft released full version of .NET 3.5. In the year 2009, Microsoft released beta version of .NET 4.0, and in the year 2010, Microsoft released full version of .NET 4.0. That is why it is also called as .NET 2010. Microsoft also says that if .NET is a successful one, Microsoft company will be successful one. But .NET is a failure, then Microsoft company will be a failure. But that is, we cannot expect Microsoft company to come down within the next 15 to 20 years. That is, the life of .NET is more than 15 to 20 years, and we can see it from here. The more than a decade has been passed, but still the life of .NET is existing. And Microsoft also says that how we felt from when we moved from the DOS operating system to Windows operating system, the same effect we can feel when we are coming from VB 6.0 or VC++ before .NET came into existence to the .NET products. So this is nothing but the history of .NET. Next, coming to the definition of .NET, Microsoft defines .NET as a set of Microsoft technologies for connecting people, systems, informations, and devices. Programming complexity of the environment is reduced naturally. Everything revolves around the internet. Why we say that everything evolves around the internet? Because maximum number of people, systems, devices, and technologies, we can find it on the internet. So instead of going for a particular system or instead of going for a particular information, now if I target the internet, I can be more successful. Interoperability between languages and execution environments. That is, for example, if I am writing int I is equals to 5 in C language, it means I is a variable of type integer, and the variable that value stored in it is nothing but 5. Similarly, if I write dim I as integer is equals to 5 in VB, it also gives the same meaning, that is I is a variable of type integer and the value stored in it is 5. The way I am telling might be different, but the meaning or the concept is the same. So it does not bother in which language it is telling, but everything will be converted or everything can be understood by the .NET framework. Uniformity in schema or exchange or formats for data exchange using XML or XSL. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language and XSL stands for Extensible Standard Language. Using these two languages, there will be a uniformity or formats for data exchange. Like, for example, if we want to transfer a ringtone from a Sony Ericsson mobile to a Nokia mobile using SMS, we cannot do it because the formats in which they differ and in which the formats are there will be the different. Suppose if that particular technology have been developed using .NET, then surely we could have done it. Extend or use existing code that is valid. Naturally, the code which is existing today I should be able to use it in tomorrow. So this is nothing but the definition of the .NET and introduction to the .NET. Coming to the developing phenomenon, in earlier days, suppose we are having an operating system This is nothing but the source code. The source code will be converted into the binary code and then given to the operating system. I'm having another source code, another operating system, and this source code will be converted into the binary code and then given to the operating system. If we are developing it on a lower version and running on a higher version, it is possible, but the reverse is not possible. So here in the conventional way of developing the programs, we are failing it. So what we have done is nothing but the operating system is there, the source code is there, we will put something called as virtual machine inside the operating system. The source code will be converted into the intermediate code by the virtual machine and given to the operating system. Suppose I am having another operating system and a virtual machine. This virtual machine and this virtual machine, I can say it as the same. So this intermediate code and this intermediate code will be the same. So this source code can run on this operating system. If there is another source code, that can be run on another operating system. So here in .NET Framework, what we are doing is operating system is there. This virtual machine, I am replacing it with something called as the CLR, and then whatever the codes are there, that is C#.NET, VB.NET, J#.NET, everything will be converted into the MSIL by the CLR and then given to the operating system. So this is how we came to know about the .NET Framework. Architecture of .NET Framework. Here we are having operating system. Above that the CLR is there, the base class library is there, ADO.NET is there, and above that we are having the ASP.NET and Windows Forms. Above that we are having the common language specification. Above that we are having the C#.NET, VB.NET, C++, Schema, Perl, COBOL, etc. The base class library and the CLR together forms the base framework and then given to the operating system. ADO.NET and XML is used for data connectivity and ASP.NET is used for web services. With using Windows Forms, we can go for the user interface, and the entire thing is called as Visual Studio.NET. So if we say that we are perfect in the base framework, I can say that we are perfect in .NET Framework, and the later part, that is the data connectivity, user interfaces, XML services, can be developed at a later stage because we know the base framework, we know the libraries, everything we know it. So this is nothing but the introduction or the demo to .NET. Thank you.